Frida, now was your chance. What happened?
You know, Brittany, there comes a time where you gotta start speaking the truth, including telling the truth to yourself. So I basically, around my birthday, I was turning 24, being very introspective. And as I was planning with him, I'm gonna do this and that, I realized I'm not excited to introduce my friends and family to this guy. So I basically was like, Frida, what are you doing? I uninvited him.
Damn, savage.
And kept it pushing.
Savage. Did you like at least say goodbye? Oh my god. Yo, next time on Dragon Ball Z. I have this belief that we know who we are our entire lives.
Birds.
Everything that we do in life, every action and step, experience, is to get to what we already knew when we were young and without filter, or at least malleable to judgment.
Happy birthday, Brittany.
Back then, it was okay to choose ourselves, and everyone affirmed it. Sacrifice was never a term of negotiation if something did not serve us. As an infant, when we did not want to be held by a certain someone, we'd rebel in the language of tears. If our bodies needed nourishment, we'd request for food in the same language and did the same for touch and attention.
I'm a strong believer that people sometimes even enter like relationships knowing this person is not for me. Not everyone does know it going in, but if you are in it and there is a point in time where you have that realization, you should act on it. Got to a point where I had that realization. It happened to be the week I was turning 24, thinking about all the things I want for myself, and I was like, okay, Frida, now that you have this understanding, what are you going to do about it? It sounds harsh, it's rude, it's mean to this person. I'm not being considerate of their feelings, but why would I want to live a day in a lie?
How often do we allow our actual needs to inform the way that we exist in this world? The spaces we choose to enter, the people who we allow to feel our energy, the institutions we serve.
I realized a few things. I realized I didn't miss talking to him. I was pretty alright. There were certain things that were red flags for me that became heightened. Was inconsistency. Thinking you could buy yourself out of every situation. If we can't connect on another level emotionally and stuff, then why?
How often do we center ourselves, opt to make our spirits' well-beings the 9 to 5 and everything else secondary?
And I think it was important that I recognized that for that and not let things linger. I think it's important for me to know when I'm using someone as a crutch. There was literally a moment where I was like, wow, this is so fun, but how great is it if all of the problems I ever had before this person came around are still here? And then I had a moment where I was like, oh wait, no, that's where you fucked up, because that's your work to do. That's not somebody else's work. I really feel like it was just less about this person, because I can't stop saying this person was great and kind and had their flaws, and I do too. The flaws weren't what did it. It was more so this moment of actually I prefer to work on these things on my own that bring me happiness. And for anybody to be with me on that journey, they have to be pretty damn great. And if you're just okay, then maybe I don't want to entertain you. It was a Frida, what you doing? What could you be doing with your time? What could you be doing for yourself?
Barbara Smith hinted at this once. She said something about the inner child within us all, how the way that we respond to each and every experience is in service to our inner child's, protecting the core being in us.
In some ways, it's hard getting there because, again, there's so much context and there's so many questions that come up from meeting this child. When I was in college, I did some meditation sessions geared to focus on the inner child and asking yourself that question: who is the inner child? Who you were as a kid before you started thinking about expectations and before you were socialized to think and overthink and expect, question, and etc. It's in some ways what I perceive to be one of our rawest emotional forms. I did a few meditations sort of meeting that person, who that inner child is. And for me, how it manifested was that the inner child within me wanted to play. That kid doesn't get a lot of attention. That kid doesn't get a lot of affection specifically. And one of the things that he wants the most is to just play and to play with somebody and to be with somebody. And so when I meditated, I imagined that we were in a playground together and that I wasn't really doing much. I was just there with him. And he was running around and he was getting on the swings and stuff like that. And then he would like lead me, grab me by the hand and lead me somewhere to just watch him and be with him. That kind of affection is what that kid needed. And I think that kind of affection is what I needed. For someone to just be there.
Whether we're defensive and feel the need to protect ourselves, or drunk off of joy, a type of communication takes place with that core being in us.
For me to meet that kid, in my mind, I have to face a lot of the challenges that I experienced, which means that then I have to face the challenges that my family was experiencing. It demands that I ask myself very serious questions about where I come from, who I was as a kid, and what needs from that kid are still there. Some of my instincts are to be very needy emotionally, and doing that kind of mental exercise forced me to question, where does that neediness come from? Is it a bad thing that I feel needy sometimes? What kind of affection or love or attention or resources or time was I missing that I didn't get as a kid that are still things that I'm grappling with now?
Our censors are our only constants and they're wise as fuck. And sometimes I wonder if my inner child is the actual adult.
When I was a child, and more so now that I'm a conscious adult, I've always felt very far from people. I felt very alone, and that I didn't receive the kind of love that I needed. I couldn't conceptualize that and I couldn't talk about it, but I felt it. There was something within me. I grew up in the DR, running around in the streets, playing baseball, playing tag. That was freedom. That was my biggest moments of joy, and I think that kid wanted to be with somebody to share that joy with. In my mind, neediness and freedom are in friction. Part of that is because I don't feel that I can ask things of people and also maintain my freedom. Some of my growth is me being in all kinds of relationships and being honest about what I need and what I feel and being able to communicate that. But I'm still learning how to be a free person and be able to play and go in the street and do all these things and however that manifests now as an adult. And also tell somebody, hey, I need love, or hey, I need affection, or hey, I need a hug, or I need to not be alone right now.
About wisdom. I recently revisited old writing, some pieces from over 8 years ago, and realized that the things and moments that I recently thought were epiphanies and breakthroughs are things that my younger self already was certain of. Which is to say, I've been possessed all the things I've needed. I am who I'm trying to become. When I return to myself, I'll find all the answers to the questions that I have now. Try it. Look back or turn your own volume down. You'll begin to hear the story you thought your body hadn't yet written. And if it isn't a story, it's a song, a whisper for some, or just a feeling. Either way, it instructs. The inner child in me, or the spirit, if they are both one and the same, they read the energy first. They tell me if it is or isn't safe. It says do not connect, or it says build. It says it's okay to love this one. Uncertainty is fear's kin and we ain't related to either, so open yourself wide and say carry. Breathe. Listen. Be still. Look back. Face yourself. You are not listening. Listen. I have this belief that we know who we are our entire lives, and that everything is about journeying back. This year, I'm my most important destination. I am who I've been waiting for, and I can't believe it's taken me this long to finally arrive.